Everyone thinks that the biggest questions about the Apples channel are about drama. They're not. The real questions that people are asking are about something much bigger than that. The real questions are about the kids, the money, and why something feels, for many viewers, like it just isn't adding up. And once you start to really read the comments, well, you'll see a pattern that's really hard to ignore. Quick disclaimer, this video isn't about making accusation or claims. Breaking down the questions that viewers are asking publicly, what those questions might actually mean underneath it all. Can't. Why is everything still happening on Jenny's channel? And this one actually hits deeper than it seems, because for many people, this wasn't just a channel, it held a much deeper meaning than that. And that meaning for viewers was tied to a very specific purpose: the creation of the channel and Jenny's journey of documenting her cancer. So now people are asking, what is this channel now? Is it still tied to what it started as? Or is it changed to something completely different? And why? And why is that shift not being explained? Now let's talk about the money questions, because there's a lot of them. Here's the thing. Most of them aren't about specific numbers, like you'd think. The questions about money are actually about trust. See people in the comments asking things like, how is or was the money being used? And what's changed financially? Or are things the same as they were before? Underneath all of that is one core question. Can viewers still understand what this platform is now? What does it represent now? Because when people feel emotionally connected, they don't just watch, they're fully engaged. And when something feels unclear, the next question is huge and really can't be understated. A lot of viewers are saying their comments disappear and their questions aren't being answered. Or certain topics, they just never get addressed. Now, moderation happens everywhere. That's normal. But the perception here, that's what matters. Because when people feel ignored, things don't calm down. It does the opposite. Things heighten. And it turns questions into frustrations. And frustration, well, it turns into speculation. And speculation into even bigger reactions. Suddenly, it's not just about the original question anymore. It's about feeling like you're not being heard at all. And then there's this category that keeps coming up, and well, it's important to approach it carefully. I've seen a lot of comments with viewers trying to piece together events, trying to understand when things happened. And again, this video isn't confirming anything, but the pattern is clear. People don't feel like they understand the sequence of events. When that happens, well, they start filling in the blanks themselves. Not always because they want drama, because they're trying to fill in something that feels very incomplete. When you zoom out, this stops being about individual questions. It starts being about a bigger shift. Shift in what the channel is and how it feels and what people expect from it. And we're watching the audience reaction in real time. And some people are still fully supportive, while others are confused. Some people are uncomfortable, and others are pretty upset. But almost everyone asking questions is trying to understand the same thing. What is this YouTube page now? What is its focus? What is its mission? And do they want to engage with it anymore? I think this is the part that people miss. This is not just criticism, and it's not just random. And well, these are patterns. And patterns, they don't just come from nowhere. They come from people trying to understand something that they used to feel so sure about. Now feels very different for them. And when something drastically changes without clear answers, well, questions, they don't just disappear, they multiply. And so I think it would be great if Kyle could answer some of these questions. As the owner and operator now of this page, Kyle, I've laid them out. These are the questions that have been brought up multiple times in the feedback on YouTube, on other places. Could you answer these questions? I think it would bring a lot of clarity. And for my viewers, I have a question for you. Not about the drama and not about the noise, but about what it means under all of this. What does the creator or owner or current operator of a channel, what do they owe the audience at this point? Who helped to build that channel? Do they owe them anything? Do they owe them an explanation? What are your thoughts? After 10 days of silence, after a middle of the night breakdown over his late wife who passed away from cancer, Kyle Appleford is back on her channel today talking about buying a suit and finalizing wedding plans for a near future wedding. This while his audience continues to ask why the rush and why not put the brakes on this relationship for the benefit of your children and your future. All the while, in the background, ongoing questions remain about the use of GoFundMe monies, over $200,000 confirmed raised, and what is the timeline of his relationship with his new fiance, and when did that begin? Was that during the end of Jenny's cancer journey as she prepared to take her final breath on this earth, or was it after? These questions remain while Kyle Appleford prepares to start a new life with a blended family. All of this continuing on the page that his late wife Jenny Appleford created as a video diary to journal her cancer journey for her children who now remain after her passing. Today we are looking at the Apples channel, formerly Jenny Apple. And we aren't here to speculate on feelings, we're here to look at the data. We've analyzed thousands of comments on YouTube and Reddit discussions and other forums to distill down the 10 most pressing questions that Kyle Appleford channel viewers are asking. Questions that go beyond just moving on and strike at the heart of digital ethics and financial transparency. So why is the community so unsettled? Let's look at the facts. Before we get to the questions, we have to look at the atmosphere of betrayal. For years, this channel was a masterclass in vulnerability. But recently, the sentiment has shifted from an atmosphere of empathy to a deep sense of unease. Question number 1. The digital legacy. Jenny Appleford wrote her own channel description, a final letter of sorts to her children and her warriors. It was her digital headstone. So why was that deleted? The audience wants to know. Is the goal to preserve Jenny's memory and legacy, or to reinvent the channel for a new relationship? Question number 2. The timeline inquiry. Transparency is the currency of YouTube, and many viewers have noted discrepancies in the timeline of the new relationship. The question isn't that Kyle moved on, but it is, when did the relationship begin? And was the audience who were donating to a grieving widower given the full picture? Question number 3. Financial transparency. The Jenny Apple GoFundMe reached significant heights, and it was marketed for Jenny's treatments and the children's futures. When viewers see high-end travel and large purchases being made immediately after, they naturally ask, where is the line between personal inheritance and community-funded support? Question 4. The Buy Me a Coffee ethics. The channel continues to use monetization features such as Super Thanks. If the family has reached a level of financial stability that has afforded them to have luxury items and live a luxury style lifestyle, then the community is asking, is it ethical to continue to ask for support from a demographic that may be worse financially off than the creator himself? Question 5. Channel ownership. If this is a new beginning, why not start a new channel? Using 200,000 subscribers who had originally joined for a cancer journey to now launch a lifestyle vlog with a new partner is what researchers call audience harvesting. The audience wants to know, why wasn't the community given the choice to opt in to this new content? Question number 6. The move to Arizona. Family dynamics are complex, but the community is interested in the children's support system. What is the plan to ensure that Ellis and Winnie remain in their deep-rooted connection to Jenny's family in California? Question 7. Professional support. Grief isn't a straight line. With a new parental figure being introduced so quickly, viewers are asking, are the children in consistent professional counseling to navigate these complex life changes? Question number 8. The mom branding. When a new partner is introduced as a mother figure, it creates what psychologists call a replacement narrative. The community asks, how do you balance honoring the late mother, Jenny Appleford, while integrating a new person without causing identity issues for the kids? Finally, we look at interaction, or lack thereof. Question number 9. The erasure of critique. Inquiry is not harassment. When respectful long-term followers ask for clarity and are then blocked, it creates something not very helpful. It creates an echo chamber. Why has the channel largely shifted to a positive vibes only channel when it was built on the raw truth? Question number 10. The values alignment. The channel tends to lean into faith-based values. However, many comments are questioning, why is it that the proposal period was done when one of the parties was still legally married, and why the rush to get married? So the question is, how do you reconcile the public values on one hand with the private decisions that are being documented on the other? As an investigative researcher, the data shows us one thing very clearly. Silence does not make questions go away. It actually makes them much louder. The viewers of the Apple's channel, the ones who are voicing skepticism and critique, they're not a hate mob. They were ones who sat in their living room and cried for a stranger that they never met, who was facing a significant health battle when the stakes couldn't be higher, when she had 2 children who were young, under the age of 10, who relied on her and loved her, and who she desperately wanted to be there for and couldn't. And when you invite viewers into your home for the hard parts, you can't suddenly wonder why they have an opinion about the confusing or angering parts. The community isn't asking for perfection, but they are asking for the same level of transparency that built the channel in the first place. And until these questions are answered, the gap between the creator, Kyle, and the community will continue to grow. What do you think? Do you think a creator is obligated to answer for the shift in narrative and other questions that their viewers are having? Or is their private life truly private when the record button stops? Let's discuss this respectfully in the comments, where every voice deserves to be heard. And I'm continuing to follow the Kyle Appleford story on the YouTube channel in live time. So if you're interested, please subscribe. Thanks for watching my videos, and I'll see you in the next. I have a radical opinion that I'm not sure if everyone holds, or if most people hold that same opinion as me. When a YouTuber who has a significant following and has used that following to generate a decent amount of income, probably more than the income they make from their own job, and has had a loyal couple 100,000 followers for a long time, who have interacted and commented and contributed to thousands of views and watch hours, when they become upset with something with your channel, I'm of the impression that you should have enough decency and respect and care and concern about what those same people who have supported you through the years to acknowledge your mistakes, take accountability, and course correct, right? I mean, that's reasonable, right? But we have to remember that we're not living in normal days, and what's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right. And it just seems like normal human behavior that you used to be able to predict in the past is just absolutely not normal anymore. And it's that abnormal behavior, which is starting to be more consistently shown across the world. And we see it online, and we see it in person, and it's just, yeah, it's something to behold for sure. So the Jenny Appleford YouTube channel had a very clear purpose from the beginning. It was written in her own words. She talked about it. She demonstrated it in the videos she uploaded. No confusion. Very clear. And as you may or may not know, the purpose of that channel was to document her, what ended up being terminal journey with non-small cell, non-smoking lung cancer. And she wanted to document that for her legacy, for her children and supporters. And, but recently, that whole mission, if you will, has been completely changed. And that started when her husband took over the page after her passing. And so the question I have for everyone today is there a responsibility when you are a YouTuber and you've seen it, thousands and thousands of comments? Yes, there's supportive ones. Yes, there's neutral ones, but there's thousands of comments about how upsetting your behavior is. Do you have a responsibility to acknowledge that, to be accountable to them for that, and to have the human decency to say, look, I was wrong, and to offer a heartfelt apology? So after Jenny passed away in 2023, Kyle assumed the responsibility 100% for her page that she created. And he said the purpose that they previously discussed was to document his grief as a husband and from a caregiver perspective. And he describes that as continuing her legacy. But this is where things start to shift, because at some point, a couple months ago, the videos changed and they were no longer about Jenny, and they began to pivot to a new relationship, one of which turned into a proposal and has now since turned into a blended family. And this is all on the page that Jenny established with a specific mission to document her cancer journey as a legacy for her children and followers. And this is where I do really want to be clear for a second, because I've got a lot of comments from people saying, don't you want him to be happy? You know, what's wrong with him having a relationship? Why can't he move on? This should be very clear. We, meaning Jenny's supporters and myself, who has been a supporter for Jenny for a really long time through her journey, of course, everybody wants Kyle to be happy and to have peace and his children to be in a really good position. And that goes without saying for most people. And it's not about that. The crux of the issue is have your life, have your relationship, have your marriage, have your dog, have your home, have whatever your life consists of, your new blended family, your perfect relationship. But don't put it on the page that Jenny established for her cancer journey, because that's where her memory is being disrespected, and that's where her viewers feel disrespected, and that's where people feel like, you know, all of a sudden they have to go through dozens of pages to get down to her story, and she's being erased. And that's very painful, because people have made a very deep connection to Jenny through the years. I have touched on different viewer perspectives. There are people that are very supportive, which is great. Everyone has their own opinion. The opinion that I'm expressing today is just my opinion. It's not intended for any ill will or ill purpose towards Kyle. It's just my opinion as I watch the page like any other viewer. So, you know, there are some supporters. And if you look through the comments through multiple pages, you see that there are some supporters. There are some people in the middle, but really lately, at least, the prevailing voice has been one of concern, and one of shock, and one of disappointment, and one of anger. And you can see those in the comments for yourself. I have shared some perspectives in previous videos if you want to go back and look into those. I've kind of done a deep dive on this subject, and so I do have material on it that, you know, you're welcome to watch over and see for yourself. Let me just ask you this question right here. Do you think that Kyle will ever acknowledge that he's hurt a lot of his followers? Do you think that he'll ever acknowledge that his actions have been painful to a lot of his followers, causing many to leave in an exodus? Do you think that he will ever issue a heartfelt apology, or, you know, or do we just hold our breath? Because I'll share with you in the future what I think about that, but I'm curious to hear from you today.